again, Megan from Yates, joining you for this week's episode of Nutrition Intermission. So last week we covered nutrition facts panels, and if you missed it, go ahead and check out episode 4 in our highlights before you dive into today's content. It'll be helpful as we move on to what we're chatting about today. So this week we are tackling the other important part of the label, which is the ingredient list. So on my box from last week, ingredient list here at the bottom in purple. So that's what we will be covering today. Just a quick snapshot of that so you can see it on a label. But I'm going to prime our conversation with the following. In the spirit of the month of October, ingredient lists can be very tricky. They aren't always clear and concise, easy to read, or even understand. So we'll cover a few pointers today, and we'll round out our session with a demonstration to reiterate why it's important to read those ingredient lists. So, ingredient lists. This is the area that tells you what can be found in the product. So each ingredient in the food product is listed by its common or usual name. Ingredients are listed in descending order by weight. What that means, the ingredient that weighs the most is listed first, and the ingredient that weighs the least is listed last. So the first few ingredients listed comprise the majority of the food that you are purchasing or consuming. Remember that even though the ingredients are listed in order of quantity, it doesn't always tell the whole story about the product. I like to look at the first 5 ingredients and review what the majority of the product is made of. Then I transition to focusing on the entire exhaustive list to see what else might be in a product. So why are they so hard to comprehend? Main reason, some ingredients go by names other than what we would expect. First of all, there are many terms used for sugar in food labels. So we've talked about sugar numerous times, and we're still talking about it because it is added on a consistent basis to a lot of processed foods. So you might look at an ingredient list and see the 4th ingredient is sugar and think to yourself, hey, that's not too bad, right? Well, keep on reading, because sugar can also be listed as high fructose corn syrup, agave nectar, barley malt syrup, or dehydrated cane juice, just to name a few. There are over 60 names for the word sugar. It is exhausting and it is relentless. So keep on reading to make sure that you check for that sugar and added sugar as well, because they could be lurking right under your nose and you don't even realize it. Next, sodium. It also has several names. Another topic that we have covered, but salt is deemed sodium salt, sodium benzoate, disodium or monosodium glutamate, which is also known as MSG, and sodium nitrate, which can be found in hot dogs, lunch meats, and so on. Also preserves fish and meats and controls bacteria. But there is another list of over 20 sodium name alternatives. So check those ingredient lists to make sure that you're finding them all. Next, refined and processed grains. So these cause the same type of blood sugar spike and fall that sugar can, and can also increase cravings. When grains are processed, they have the fiber, vitamins, healthy fats, and minerals removed, which makes them a concentrated source of starch or a carbohydrate. If the package claims it contains multi-grains, is made with whole grains, or has a certain number of grains, it is very likely processed. So these are some of the sneaky ways companies add processed grains in packaged products by calling them simply just flour and not stating what exactly type of the flour it is, starch, enriched, or unbleached. So you want to look for the whole grain version of the ingredient, something like oats or brown rice, whole wheat, things like that. So looking for those whole grains, healthy whole grains, adds fiber to your meals, vitamins to your day, and more nutrition to your overall life. Then there are the trans fats. So you won't typically find these listed as trans fats at all, but rather ingredients that contain trans fats. So these are listed as partially hydrogenated oil or hydrogenated oil. They're used to prevent spoiling and increase the shelf life of foods, and they are found in desserts, baked goods, fried foods, breads, and chips. Trans fats actually elevate your risk of developing heart disease and stroke, and they can raise your bad cholesterol, which is your LDL cholesterol, or and decrease your good cholesterol, which is your HDL cholesterol. So that's a little quick tidbit on those ingredient lists that I want you to start practicing when you are reading your labels when you're shopping or before you're consuming a product. We're going to round out today with a quick activity to practice what we've learned. So I'm going to transition views for you so you can check this out a little bit more. Okay, so I do have a jar here of peanut butter, and when I look at the ingredient list, I do see that all it has in it is peanuts. So that's something that would just be a product with only the one thing in it. There are no additional ingredients, something that we would definitely want to check, and this would be a good option for us to choose when we are shopping, okay? So over here, I actually have the list of ingredients for some other commercial made peanut butter that we typically see on our shelves. So you'll see listed on this document, this has a little bit longer ingredient list. So there are roasted peanuts, sugar, molasses, fully hydrogenated vegetable oil. Okay, remember this was part of our trans fats. And then mono and diglycerides, which actually are emulsifiers. And then salt. So if I were to make this at home, these ingredients are everything that I would need minus the mono and diglycerides in order to make this. So if I were to start adding these to a bowl, I have the roasted peanuts. Then I have the sugar, the molasses, as well. So 2 forms of sugar here. The oil. And finally the salt. So this is what I would be eating if I were to consume this product over here. It may not seem like a big difference when you are shopping, but it definitely is between this bowl of all the ingredients that are in here and then this product, which we have one ingredient, which is just listed as peanuts. So that's why it's so important to go ahead and read those ingredient lists while you are shopping. I hope that activity shed some light on why it's so important to read those ingredient lists when you are shopping for products or before you consume one. Thank you for your time today. I greatly appreciate it, and I look forward to sharing with you all next week. Have a good one.